Hello my loves, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sabrina Nayantara and this is Manifest with Nayantara. Today's video is and has been inspired by our latest tarot pull, coined the Sunday Tarot Tea. For those of you that have seen it, for those of you that haven't, I have linked it below. You can just check it out, it's like 60 seconds. But the tarot card was the Goddess of the Moon. Now, this is all about intuition, it's all about personal power, it's all about having the courage to tune in to your heart's true desire and basically to allow those messages to prompt your next movements. So if you have at any time been feeling stuck, or these are the things that kind of happen throughout life where you're going to have a season where you may feel like you're not really sure where to put your energy. In today's message, we're going to be discussing a few things that we can do to assist ourselves and why the Goddess of the Moon is such a powerful, positive card that we can take a lot of advice from. So what is the Goddess of the Moon? The Goddess of the Moon is all about intuition, it's all about inner wisdom, it's all about understanding what your inner self is trying to tell you. When we think about the moon in and of itself, we're talking about the hidden depths, the emotional realm, the realm that you don't always get in touch with because you're busy, you're distracted, life, and we're living, right? So we always get caught up in things that are outside of ourselves. The Goddess of the Moon is here to prompt us so that we can reawaken those parts of ourselves that sometimes we don't actually continue to have a relationship with, because again, as I said, there are so many worldly distractions. So with this particular card, it's all about inner wisdom. It's about a powerful inner knowing. It's about being able to access that wonderful knowledge that you have within you, because we have all of these spiritual guides and we have our spiritual selves that want to assist and guide us so that we can put our energies in the right place. The Goddess of the Moon is also about really helping us to reconnect with those parts of ourselves. And in order to do that, there are some practices that we may have to do. I've also included some journal prompts which you'll be able to use as we get a little bit further along into the video, just to see if it's something that can kind of stir those inner passions so that you'll actually know what next step you want to take. So when we talk about getting into the Goddess of the Moon, it's really about you getting into that authentic space within yourself. Everybody's inner desires are different. Sometimes we get caught up in the turmoil of status and power and money and finances and all of these things. And maybe that is your heart's desire. And if that is your heart's desire, this is the perfect video for you, so keep watching. This is about you being able to access what is for you, no matter what that actually may be, as long as it's, in alignment with your highest good. So personal power is not about ego. It's not about pushing. It's not about necessarily striving for something either. Personal power is about trusting yourself. It's about understanding that wherever you go, you know that you're going to be okay. So many times what we happen to do is we kind of box ourselves in. We create a paradigm for ourselves and we sit in that space and become extremely comfortable. And part of that is just, part of the human experience, because, our brains want to make sure that we are in a space of security and safety. It's one of the fundamental needs that we actually have in life. But if you want to be expansive and you want to push yourself and you want to grow and you want to become more and more and more as you go through this journey, then it means that we have to keep stretching that window of tolerance. And that means we're going to be uncomfortable. But if you are able to access that personal power, which is knowing who you are, knowing that you are supported, knowing that you are loved and you are cared for, which is what the Goddess of the Moon is here to tell us. This is why this particular tarot pull was so potent. At the moment, there's so much going on in the moon and with the stars, with the planetary movements. And for those of you that actually follow astrology, you'll know what I'm talking about. At the moment, it's all about, the new moon in Leo. And this is actually all about personal power and authenticity. It's about getting in touch with those things. As I said, not ego driven, but truly driven by the authentic self, the inner self. What does the inner self really want? Where does it want you to put your attention, your focus, your energy? That's what this is about. So when you are able to access that personal power and grow it, because really everything that we're doing is in relationship. if you are investing and committing time to spending time with yourself, to actually being able to listen to those intuitive nudges, those prompts, those gentle messages that we get to push us forward, or even sometimes when you might have found that one friend has said something to you and then another person has said it to you, and it's come at the perfect time, and it kind of assists you to know what your next step's going to be. These are the signs, the synchronicities, the movements that we need to be going with, or we could be going with. So your personal power and how to access it and grow it and build it and make sure you're having that relationship comes in spaces where you are getting into stillness and quietness with yourself, because you're not going to be able to hear those messages or follow those nudges because they are so subtle when you are being bombarded with so many other external messages. When you are desperately trying to find out what it is that you need to do next, you end up looking outside of yourself, and that is without yourself. This is about you going within yourself, because everything that you need to know about you is within yourself, not without yourself. So one of the things that we can do when it comes to wanting to really get into this space is we need to ask ourselves some really important questions, and we need to allow ourselves time for the answers to come. And one of the ways that we can do that is by spending 10 minutes alone with yourself each day. That could be in the quiet of your home or outside in nature. I always find outside is so much better because I love the outdoors. When you get outside, you still yourself and you ask yourself the question, what should I be focusing on today? What should I be considering today? And you just allow yourself that time and that space to be able to cultivate that relationship with yourself, because it's in these moments, it's in this space of quiet that you allow that inner voice to speak. And if you do this each day, if you spend time in silence each day with yourself, you'll find that your ability to hear your inner self is going to grow stronger and stronger. So this is definitely one of the things that you can do on a daily basis, just to make sure that you are giving yourself the best possible chance to hear your inner self. Another thing that you can do to grow this and to build this inner self knowledge is having a dream journal, keeping a dream journal. Your subconscious mind is constantly wanting to kind of show you some of the areas that maybe you haven't been working on, or maybe the things that you haven't been doing. Some of the things that your heart is desiring you to do, and these are the spaces that you need to put your energy and your focus before you move on to something else. It could be something in the middle. So keeping a dream journal can be extremely powerful, and when you write down those dreams as soon as you wake up, then you can really have a look at them before they leave your memory, that field of memory, before it goes, and you carry on with your day because you get distracted again. Write down your dreams and see what they're telling you. See if you can actually see if there's a common thread among your dreams. Maybe they're telling you about some kind of inner healing that needs to take place, some kind of insecurity that you may potentially have. Maybe they're telling you about what next step that you could possibly take, or that you can have some kind of premonition in your dreams. This type of things happen to me. It's happened actually to my daughter, who has lots of premonitions, which is always interesting, a little bit freaky. So dream journaling, another great thing. Another one that you can get into is moon gazing. Being outside in the cool of the evening is one of the most beautiful things, one of the most beautiful experiences, because you're outside and everything's quieting down. The world usually has gotten a little bit quieter, especially if you're in certain parts of the world where you're able to do this. The moon is your emotional self. It's a metaphor of that emotional part of you, the depths of you. When you sit in silence with the moon and you ask yourself certain questions, who am I? What do I really want? And you allow those promptings, those messages to come to the surface, you'll have a much greater idea and understanding of yourself. And also, again, you're starting to create this relationship with your inner voice. And as you do this over time, it gets stronger and stronger. So some of you might think to yourself, you're not really sure at all what next steps to take. You don't know where to go, where to start. You're feeling super stuck. Just a season, my loves. It's just what happens. I've got some journal prompts for you to do. So here are some prompts that are going to assist you to access your truth and awaken your inner goddess of the moon. Okay, so prompt number 1. What is my heart gently calling me towards? What is my heart gently calling me towards? Sit with yourself in the quiet and just make a few notes. See what comes to you. Journal prompt number 2. Is there something I've been ignoring or pushing aside, even though it keeps coming up? This one's a doozy. Is there something that I have been ignoring or pushing aside, even though it keeps coming up? It's probably going to be immediate that you know what the answer to this is. Remember, my loves, the internal self rarely screams at you. If you're getting a lot of screaming and a lot of horn blowing, and where it sounds like it is just erratic, that may be anxiety, not your intuition. Your intuition is going to be a lot more quiet. That's what it's going to be. That's why you can ignore it. You know, that's why, because it doesn't come blaring at you like a horn. Number 3, what would I do if I fully trusted myself? What things would you be doing? Where would you be? Who would you be? What people would you be around? What activities? What career? If you fully trusted yourself, if you trusted in who you are as a person, and this again links to personal power, if you trusted that and you knew that wherever you went, you were versatile, you were flexible, you were capable, and this is not about understanding, this is not about not knowing the practicalities of who you are. That's not what this is. Because for those of you that know, you know that you can teach yourself certain skills, you can upskill. If you trust yourself enough to do it. So what would you be doing if you fully trusted yourself? Number 4, what fears are standing in the way of my next step? And what would trust do instead? What fears are standing in the way? I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't know if I can. What fears are standing in the way? Remember, my loves, that when something is in a dark room, it appears as if it's a monster. But when you shed light on it, it's just a teddy bear. We've got to push some light on these fears so we can really look at them. And last but not least, number 5, where in my life do I feel aligned? And where do I feel resistance? And what is that trying to tell me? Where do you feel aligned in your life? What feels right to you? And where is there resistance? Where is there a bit of a rub in your life? And what is it telling you? Again, the more that you spend time in silence, as I said, going outside, doing the moon gazing, potentially taking a nature walk, sitting in a grove of trees, being with yourself and asking yourself, what is my truth? And you spend time doing that and you are in silence. You spend time in silence, the more that you're going to be able to grow this relationship with your inner self. Remember that a relationship is what you invest in it. It's only as good as your investment. So if you invest yourself in this, then potentially the outcome should be better. So invest some time in the stillness, in the quiet, so that you can grow this relationship with yourself. And then do these journal prompts and see where it leads you. Because I guarantee it's going to give you your next move. You're going to think to yourself, okay, actually, this is what I may need to do next. This is the course I may need to take. This is the person I need to get in touch with. I actually do want to move. I don't want to be in this job. I do want to have a baby. I don't want to have a baby. I do want to... whatever it is. Okay, whatever it is, because you can ask any question and your intuition will assist to guide you. So my loves, let us make a commitment this week. In the next few days, let's commit to this. Let's commit to understanding ourselves better. Let's commit to moving ourselves gently along in this beautiful process, this beautiful time of life. Let's assist ourselves in the journey by investing in ourselves, by hearing and sitting with our intuitive selves, by using the goddess of the moon to awaken our inner selves and to continually grow and build that beautiful wisdom, that relationship within ourselves, so that we don't have to keep looking externally for things, but we can always go within, so that we don't have to look for somebody else to help us. Sometimes someone else is sent, for sure, but we look within, we come within, we rest back within ourselves. Let's make that commitment. If this message has resonated with any of you, you know, if it's done anything for you, like, share, subscribe. I would love for you to subscribe so I can continue to make videos, because I do like making them. And drop comments, guys. Like, how do you get in touch with your intuition? What do you do? What methods do you use? I'm sure there are many things I haven't said. And guess what? There are loads of people in the world. So the more options that we have that we can try, the more that we can kind of figure out what works for us. All I know is for sure is when you get into stillness and quietness, and you listen to the in-between spaces, in between things, you can kind of hear yourself better when you do those things. So my loves, I hope that this has been helpful. And yeah, wake up the goddess of the moon within, and I'll see you soon.